All right, let's talk running backs. We spent a long time on quarterbacks because we got really angry about Russell Wilson. But all right, real quick, running backs. James Robinson, who I believe is the RB3 in half-point PPR football right now. He's at Philadelphia. You like him at RB11, 5, higher than the experts. It's hard for me to rank this guy 16th as a running back based on what he's done this year.
Yeah, he's been a really solid player. The Jags, the top 7 offense, and he's clearly the goal line capper. He's scored a touchdown in every single game. The guy looks really, really good. Top 8 in every single week for fantasy so far.
Wow.
He's just kind of superhuman. I don't know how he did it, tearing his Achilles and coming back at this pace. But I think if they have any shot against the Eagles, it's slowing down that team by trying to hammer the run. It's a pretty good run D, but we've seen them. Saw Jamal Williams score multiple touchdowns against them. Like, they give up scores on the ground. They aren't an impenetrable defense. So I could see James Robinson just keep doing what he's doing. I can't believe he's outside the top 15 running backs.
It's crazy.
After, again, 3 straight top 8 performances and a running back 3 right now on the season, as you mentioned.
Khalil Herbert going against the Giants. You got him at 13. That's 4 above the experts. Again, it seems very similar to the Robinson thing. I'm just surprised he's that low.
Yeah, again, last week, running back 1 had a monster day, and that's just dating back. Every time he's seen 10-plus carries, 3 out of 5 of those times, he's been a top 12 running back, averaging 17 fantasy points per game in those contests. He's on pace for 1,700 rushing yards and 10 touchdowns in any time he's seen 10-plus carries. I think he's a smash play against a Giants team giving up 178 yards on the ground. We mentioned earlier how damn efficient he is. The second most 10-plus yard runs in the NFL right now, behind only Nick Chubb by a carry or by 1, and he's had 30 less carries than him. The guy's an actually good player. He also saw most of the receiving work, over 60% of the routes. So it's not even a timeshare. 3 down back in a good matchup with a good talent. Don't overthink this. He's a top 12 running back this week.
Rounding out the higher running backs, you like Breece Hall. Pittsburgh is your RB23. You also like Rhamondre. He's been creeping up a little bit through your. I mean, you've been seeing the Rhamondre storm coming for a while. You've been talking about it. Going at Green Bay, you got him at 25. The experts actually have him all the way down at 32.
Yeah, I'm really encouraged by the usage I've seen from both of these guys and think both of them are quality running back 2s this week that I'm getting a lot of sit starts on. We'll start with Breece real quick. Coming off a really nice day, 6 catches for 53 yards in addition to 39 yards on the ground. He's had double-digit PPR fantasy points in every single game so far this year. But what I really like is how secure his role's becoming after it seemed like it was a 3-headed nightmare in week 2. Week 3, he ended up taking 80% of the short yardage work, 86% of the third down work, which was the key thing that Ty Johnson was mixing in for no reason. I have no idea why, but locked it up this week, had his best day of the year, even without scoring a touchdown. Now he gets Pittsburgh, who's given up these 6 most points to running backs on the year, and they've been bludgeoned the last 2 weeks without TJ Watt in there. 118, 160 yards on the ground. Like I mentioned, Hall, not bad anyways. Running back 12, running back 18 across his past 2. I think he can definitely stay inside your top 20 running backs in a good matchup. The one question is, does Zach Wilson throw to running backs as much? Who knows? He did last year. I think it's part of the design of the scheme, not quite on the level of Mike White or Joe Flacco has, but I still think he's in a great spot to do so. And as mentioned, Rhamondre Stevenson, his role has continued to get better. Per Dwayne McFarland, one of my favorite guests we had over the summer, 62% of the snaps, 54% of the rush attempts, 64% of the routes, 16% target share, 60% of short yardage, 60% of the long down and distance, and 100% of the 2-minute offense for Rhamondre. That's a borderline running back 1 role. Our guy Scott Barrett noting that Rhamondre had 9 exclusive drives in week 3 after only seeing 6, then 8. So it's gone up every single week. He's so damn efficient with his work as he was last week. He was a top 15 running back on his work last week. I love Rhamondre, just such a good player. I think they're going to really lean on him and the run game this week.
Let's talk about guys you're lower than. The first one's no surprise. Miles Sanders going against Jacksonville. You got him as your RB 32. The experts like him for some reason all the way up at 21. which puts him like right around where they have Herbert and right around where they have James Robinson. At least within spin distance. Yeah, it's crazy.
How are those guys even in the same conversation? It doesn't make any sense. The Jags are right toward the top of the league in rush DVOA. They haven't allowed more than 60 yards to a single rusher. I get that Sanders, 15 or more carries in every week. He seems to be the only guy in this backfield getting any type of meaningful work. But I think this game is definitely much more of a pass attack for both teams. And the one time he's had a couple good weeks to start the year, Sanders. Detroit and Minnesota, though, are both top 5 in fantasy points allowed to the running back. And he still only put up like 10-ish points. Wasn't even that impressive. Last week, only 5 to 6 fantasy points, depending on your scoring formats, when he faced finally a decent run D. This is a better run D that he's faced all year. I think 5 to 6 makes sense for this week on my bench.
Damien Pierce, your RB24, 5 below the experts. Now, it's not that you don't like Pierce. Like, you can actually see some possibility for shining. Bosa's out, and the Chargers line stinks. Their defensive line stinks right now. But game script, right? I mean, that's what you're worried about.
Exactly. As you mentioned, they're 32nd in yards allowed before contact right now, this D-line. They're getting bullied and no Bosa. So there is a path to a good day. He's my running back 24. So it's like you probably are starting him, but they have him, the experts, ranked as like a fringe top 15 guy alongside James Robinson and some of these other names that I'm significantly higher on. And I'm just nervous that they get game flowed out, as you just mentioned. I think, as going with my Herbert higher call, if this Chargers team bombards them, that means Burkhead, who saw almost 60% of the routes so far on the year, been the clear-cut third down guy. We've only seen 27% route participation, the highest for Dameon Pierce on the season. That was last week, only 2 targets. He's clearly getting subbed out for that third down work. So if that's what ends up happening, it just matters as, does this guy actually get into the end zone or see some work ahead of time? He is 4th in the league in red zone touches right now at 11. Like, that's pretty impressive for a team that's not that good. But I'm a little worried that they get down early and it becomes a game flow situation.
All right, guys, to keep an eye on Jamal Williams. Is he an actual bona fide running back 1 without DeAndre Swift there? I would honestly say that, like we talked about with running backs the way they are, I do think that he is. I think that he's a bona fide running back 1. Maybe the number for that is lower this year than it has been in the past. But yeah, I would absolutely roll him out there and look for RB1 numbers. Also, we're looking to see if Alvin Kamara rebounds. Minnesota has given up a lot of points to running backs this year. Interesting. London game. He's done nothing, obviously. I'm keeping my fingers crossed.
This is the spot. I'm telling you, I'm buying low this week. If you can get in Kamara, I think he's going to have a nice 102 TD day, and everyone's going to be ranking him back inside your top 6 running backs for the year. What is up, you fantasy wolf? Thanks so much for tuning in. If you haven't already, share your thoughts in the comments, check out some more videos, and join the newest Wolfpack by subscribing below.